I want to publicly praise the Lord this morning for the safety in travel, for Cindy and I, for her sister and her husband who was nearly in a fatal car wreck this weekend, and the Lord just protected them in that. And it was obvious the Lord's hand was in both those situations. I just want to publicly thank the Lord for his protection and care over this last weekend. If you would, please turn to Ephesians chapter 5 this morning as we get rolling on this first day of 2023. And as you're turning to Ephesians 5 today, there's a phrase that if you've been in America very long, you've heard this probably all your lives. All men are created equal. It's in the Declaration of Independence. If it were being written today, I suppose it would say something like, all people are created equal. But it's a foundational principle of our society. And it's a deep concept. It's not a surface type of thing. It really does need to be internalized all over this world. But in our midst, always, there are those who want to pull people away from that mindset. Always envious, some are. Always wanting to get on some financial gravy train. They'll tell you that, hey, that's just not true. We're not all created equal in the lower human terms of social status or ability or intelligence or opportunity. Well, some of that might be true. That's all right. But a wonderful thing happens when one rises above self-pity and sees themselves in light of eternity. Our entire life is just a speck on the line of eternity. We discover that we indeed are created equal. All people have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. All people need forgiveness for their sins, and that forgiveness can only come through a relationship, a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ, his Son. Another thing, we're all on the same clock. We all have access to the same amount of time every day. You, me, the mayor, the governor, the president. We all have 1,440 minutes every day. And what we do with those minutes determine what our lives will become as we gel them all together. So today we're getting back into that series that we were in during Advent called What If? It's about exploring the possibilities of kind of tweaking our behavior, tweaking our lives, and making some changes, some may be minor, as we go through the life. And what a better day to hit this one, the first day of the year. We've talked about forgiving others in this series. We've talked about changing our thought patterns. We've talked about changing the way we talk. We've talked about how to get rid of worry, how to stay thankful on a daily basis. We talked about that at Thanksgiving. And today we're going to talk about taking control of your life. It means taking control of your time. I might as well just say it. Now, the Bible talks about this. In Ephesians 5, and I've heard the pages rustling, I love to hear it. Ephesians 5, verses 15 through 21. Let's go to that right now. I'll be using the Christian Standard Bible. Pay careful attention then to how you walk. Not as unwise people, but as wise, making the most of the time, because the days are evil. So don't be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. And don't get drunk with wine, which leads to reckless living, but be filled by the Spirit, speaking to one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing and making music with your heart to the Lord, giving thanks always for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, submitting to one another in the fear of Christ. Now, as we unpack that today for a little bit here, Let's see what we can learn on this. Now, full disclosure, if you know me, you know I am not an efficiency expert. No Fortune 500 company is going to call me on the phone, all right? That's not my strong point. One time I was driving 3 other pastors. We were going to a conference. And I was in the driver's seat and had 3 others with me. And the route took us, we were going to Illinois, but we were kind of swinging around through Chicago. And I think we were on 80. And it just kind of turned into a parking lot. That may have happened to you once or twice. So we're sitting there. And we're all just kind of chatting and waiting for traffic to move. But this one pastor, he just could not relax. You should have taken the last exit. We could have missed all this. Hey, you see that sign up there? That's an exit. If we can crawl up to that somehow, we can get off this road. We'll find another route. We'll find another way. Well, we had plenty of time. We weren't going to be late. Long story short, we got there on time. But I'm task-oriented by nature, so I have to be careful here. When I talk about becoming more organized or more efficient, I tell you what, I'm talking to me too. I'm not talking about becoming a time tyrant, constantly cutting people short so you can move on to the next thing, I'm talking about organizing your life in such a way that you spend your life doing what matters most to you and the Lord. I like to linger in conversation. I like to tell stories. I like to hear stories. I like to pass time with people. I like to just kind of kick back and just be with people. As I said earlier today, I drove Cindy up to see her sisters in central Michigan on Friday. Saturday we came back, and just kind of being a chauffeur, usually. They seldom get together. Their time together is wonderful. And I tell you what the price of admission is, hearing them laugh, hearing them having a good time. You know what? According to the priorities that I've placed on my life and the calling God has placed on my life, that is the most efficient use of my time. My wife. If you work hard, you can play hard. That's not to say I've mastered my schedule. All of us, no doubt, have a lot to learn about how to better organize our lives and better manage our time. But when you don't take full control of your schedule, you can create problems for yourself. Now, here's some problems that you get. Number one, wasting time is wasting life. Your life consists of individual days. It's divided into hours and minutes, You spend those hours and minutes doing the wrong things, your life can take the wrong direction. Now, if you lose money on an investment, you can regain that, but you can never get back wasted time. You just can't do her. Secondly, wasting time causes you to miss opportunities. When you're doing today what you should have done yesterday, it kind of snowballs, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. If you remember back in school, you got a paper due tomorrow. Haven't started yet. So you start on that thinking, man, this is going to be an all-nighter. And you just get started and the phone rings. You pick up the phone and it's your buddy. He says, hey, I got free tickets to the concert here in town. You want to go along? You say, no, I can't go. I gotta work on this crazy paper. He says, I'm in your same class. I did that weeks ago. That's all done. What's the matter with you? Well, kind of caught you. Happens to the best of us. Trouble is, this isn't just a college thing. It's a way of life for many. Thirdly, wasting time leads to regrets. Causes us to look back in our lives and realize, kind of like Marlon Brando, yeah, I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. The truth is, it's pointless to discuss today what might have been. So let's just put that beside. Let's put that behind. Really, the only valid discussion for today is how we might make better use of our time today and as we head into 2023. So what good will it do? What good will it do? Well, it's certainly worth the effort. And I'm speaking for myself. Since time equals life, using your time well means using your life well. Using your time well means that your life will become what you want it to become. So using your time well means you give yourself the opportunity to reach your potential. It's been a little while back, but Microsoft Windows had this thing. It's an advertising campaign. Where do you want to go today? And the idea was that their computer, their software system, it was the key to adventure, the key to exploration. Now, we could ask a similar question today. Who do you want to be today? Every day gives you the opportunity to move in the direction of your potential. Secondly, using your time well also results in less stress. You put your head on the pillow at the end of the day and says, boy, I'm glad that got done. I'm glad I went and saw so and so. Today was a good day, Now, how do we put all this into practice then? 4 things that have helped me. First of all, start building routines into your life. Now, like I say, I'm task-oriented, so it comes a little natural for me. I'm a list type of guy. But you don't have to create a regimen for every minute of the day. Good idea to develop habits that enable you to move in the direction you want to move. I know pastors that it's Saturday evening and they start working on a message. Folks, that would drive me insane. I start Monday and try to get it knocked out because I know that is something that has to be done and has to be done well. Well, the verdict's out on that part. For example, I typically begin each day the same way. I get up, put on my clothes, step outside or see what the temperature is outside lately. It might be 40 degrees here, it might be negative 40 in Canada. Say my prayers. I mentally start making a list of the things that I want to get done that day. You know what? That's a routine that King David followed. Psalm 5:3 says, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I plead my case to you and watch expectantly." You know what? I don't do that enough with the mindset. I get into a pattern. And it's so easy for me just to jump into the day. And I need to ask the Lord to come along. I can get in too big of a hurry sometimes. Another routine that I want to follow is that when I'm on the phone, I'll turn the TV off or I'll close my laptop so I can give my full attention to what's going on that phone. Now, in your bulletin today, you see on that tab, through the Bible in the year, from World Missionary Press, is the exact same setup. It's on the back tab of your bulletin. I tell you what, today's first day. Good way to start the year. Wonderful way to start the year. Another route that I like to follow is that when I'm traveling, and if I'm not preaching on a Sunday, I like to find a church in the area where I'm at and attend there. Hebrews 10:25, what's it say? Let us not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Jesus did that. On the Sabbath day, Jesus went into the synagogue, as was his custom. So the more we build routines into our daily lives, the better use we make of the hours and minutes God gives us. Now here's a second thing that's going to help you make better use of your time in 2023, and that's give the best things your best time. Put the most important things up front. You know, there are some tasks that if I don't do them first, I might not get around to doing them at all. So I make sure I try to get those done as early as possible. And I have to kind of clear away distractions. In my line of work, distractions are always there, but I try to stay focused on that one task and get it taken care of. So what I've strived to do is perform each task in a way that I can do it most effectively. And a lot of times it's the time of day that I do it. It's weird how that works, but Psalm 90 is one of the Psalms attributed to Moses. And he talks about the brevity of life. And then he gets to verse 12 and he says this, teach us to number our days carefully so that we may develop wisdom in our hearts. Now he's not asking that God will tell him how many days he's going to live. He's asking God to give him an understanding of how to best use his time. And the older I get, the more critical that becomes. Moses is asking the same thing that Paul really told us to do. Make the best use of your time. Is your family important to you? Then don't give them your leftover time. Is having a dynamic walk with Christ important to you? Then don't wait to pray and read the Bible until you're too wore out at the end of the day. Do you have an important project to finish that requires your full concentration? Well, do it when you're wide awake and not all wore out. Give the best things your best time. Now, here's the third thing. Choose a better way to waste time. I thought I'd lighten it up a little bit here. Fact is, we're all going to waste time at various times of the day. We're going to be less than 100% effective at various times of the day. And wasting time, I'll use air quotes here, it makes a big difference in how your life develops. Now, if I'm in the shop repairing a lawnmower or doing a restoration, I usually have some workshop manual or manuals open to help me out. And some are better than others. But there is a perfect workshop manual for me. It's God's Word. When I decide to read, okay? That's a big word there. When I decide to read, I will read maybe a sermon, or I'll get into a Bible commentary on a passage that I've just read. The fact is, I still drive down the road with old 70s pop music. But most of my kickback time is, I try for it to be productive. I try to waste time in a way that will take me in the direction of my goals. Another good way to waste time is, and they're trying to teach me this at the hospital, instead of watching TV, to work out. My exercise equipment, you can put hangers on that, and you can hang clothes on your exercise. It really holds stuff. You can put a lot of stuff on your exercise equipment. A lot of shirts and pants and stuff. They're trying to get me tuned in up there. I think they'll do it. Or spend time with a friend. Play catch with your son. Maybe a good nap is the best thing you could do at a certain time of day. We all have these times in the day when we want to do nothing. And then when that time comes, you got a choice. You can sit in front of the TV for a couple of hours watching reruns of the Rockford Files, or you could watch a show on the life of Christ, or watch a good sermon, or you could kick back and listen to some worship music, or some Christmas music if that's still apropos after Christmas. Now the key word, do something that builds you up. Again, so when you lay your head on the pillow at the end of the day, you can say, today was a good day. So how you manage 2023, it's up to you. Time management really is just a matter of organizing your life so that you spend your time doing what matters most to you. What's on your to-do list for 2023? Instead of looking back on your life and saying, I could have been somebody, I tell you what, you'll be able to look back and say, God, thank you for all that you've enabled me to do. And you'll give God the glory. And your spirit will soar. May it be that way for you in 2023. We're going to sing a song in just a little bit as Terry comes up and as Joe comes up to help me out here. And we're going to sing this song. And really, it's an altar call of the Spirit. And as you look forward into 2023, and we've had some weird years with COVID and all this kind of stuff, and we've lost some dear ones. But as we look ahead, may it be a forward look today, and may it be a preparing of your heart for what God would have for you this year. Let's stand together and sing.